Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk SAP. And this is the Talk with Expert series where we talk with like minded people who have been working in SAP domain for quite a long time now. Today, we have Ghanshyam with us, who is working with Google Cloud Consulting and has over a decade of experience with working on multiple organizations and projects. So, Ghanshyam, can you tell us more about yourself?
Thank you, Ashish. Hello, everyone. My name is Ghanshyam Patel, and I'm working in Google Cloud as an SAP architect. And thank you, Ashish, for organizing this and having me here.
Hey, thank you, Ghanshyam. So, let's start with this. You have been working with Fortune 500 companies and now even Google. So, what are the different expertise that you need to get into these organizations, and what is the expectations from different level of experience, if you can put some light on that?
Yep. See, my journey has been great so far. I'm very passionate about my work, and this has helped me reach where I am today. Now, coming to the question, my suggestion to the audience from different experiences in this space would be to see the holistic view of how the business functions rather than just focusing on the day to day tasks at hand. Try to visualize your contributions and the value you are adding to the business. This will give you a bigger picture and help you identify your interest of your area of interest so that you can aim to move in the right direction. And this is what I have followed, and helped me, to achieve what I have today and where I am today. So I think uh, so. I personally do not work in that way, or I do not feel that anyone's ability or it is limited by the experience. A 2 year experienced person can do a lot if they have that kind of exposure, right? So all I feel, that's why I mentioned, like, you have to, irrespective of the experience, years of experience, you have to change your perspective, see things from business perspective, how it is helping, or how the work that you are doing is helping the business, right? What is the impact that your work is making? So if you see in that way, be it 3 years of experience, be it 7 years, all can make a huge difference, right?
Got it. Agreed. So at last, it's the business which is the bread and butter. So we should understand the perspective how it is working rather than just focusing on what work we are doing right now.
Exactly. That is what I feel. Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
Okay, so let's talk about the new buzz that is in the Google Workload Manager, and which is surrounded for SAP technologies right now. So can you put some more light for the people around here?
Yes. Talking about the workload manager, right? Workload Manager is a new compute engine service that provides automated analysis of your SAP workloads against reliability and performance best practices. Now, at the time of GA, Workload Manager is available for SAP solutions, which include your SAP HANA, your NetWeaver, and HA clustering. So this can help you to prevent outages, detect issues early, and resolve them quickly. For example, Workload Manager can scan your SAP workload for security vulnerabilities, configuration errors, and performance bottlenecks. And if it finds any issue, it will alert you so that you can take corrective actions. That is one feature of the workload manager. Next, you will also see a wizard driven interface that walks you through the deployment process step by step. This can help you to save time and avoid errors, right? So overall, it is designed to provide a holistic view of your SAP workload. So this is a single pane of glass. It integrates with other Google services such as your cloud monitoring, your cloud logging, and Google Cloud Asset Inventory, etc., to provide you with a comprehensive view of your SAP system environment. This integration allows you to easily correlate data from different sources, and which can help you to troubleshoot problems more quickly. So in a gist, this is what you get from the workload manager.
So did we had anything like Google Workload Manager in past, or it is the first thing that?
No, no. As I mentioned, it's a brand new service or brand new product, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, so you already talked about the key features and capabilities. So can you give us some example to understand more how it is helping us?
Uh, on the key features, so as I mentioned, part one was your validation. So workload manager provides initial and ongoing validation of your infrastructure configuration, your high availability setup, your operating system configuration to improve the workload reliability and prevent issues before they impact your business critical applications, which
Mm-hmm.
improves your system quality. Now, if you see, or whenever you deploy your SAP workload and before go live, before you go live, right? You would want to make sure that you're following all the best practices, right? All the configuration should be set as per the recommendation by SAP, by Google Cloud. So for what we did, like you get all these standards, checks in place that you can select and run it against those workload in one shot, irrespective of the number of VMs. It could be spanning across multiple projects. You can just select all of them in one go and execute it. You also get an option to schedule it based on your requirement. It could be on ad hoc basis. It could be weekly. So as per your requirement, you can do that. So that's about the validation. This is how it helps you. Now, with the automated deployment and monitoring, it will significantly accelerate the time to value for rapid migration to lower your cost and decrease operational overhead. So these are some key features I wanted to highlight. Yeah.
So, what mechanism is in place when we talk about Google Cloud Manager to ensure secure and even resource protection? So, you can put some.
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, you should always think from that perspective to make sure that the product that you are using following all the best practices for from the security aspect as well. So, workload manager evaluations scans resources across multiple projects, which are called target projects. But the evaluation is stored in only one project called a consumer project, right? So as I mentioned, you might be having your SAP workload deployed in different project. It could be all your development system in one project, quality in one, prod in one, just an example, right? So evaluation is nothing but the execution that you are running, right, with all the checks, that is called an evaluation. Basically, you create that evaluation, and you can, when you create that evaluation, it can be your third project, not in the same where your workload is running. So that can be your consumer project. Now, the consumer project is used to access Workload Manager in the Google Cloud Console to create and run an evaluation, whereas the target project holds the resources you want to evaluate and selected in an evaluation scope tab when you create a new evaluation. So now I'm just uh, talking right from the beginning, like how it works, so that you can correlate how the security is integrated with this whole product, right? So now, to create and run evaluation in the consumer project, you need to enable the Workload Manager API. That is the first step, and that's a one-time thing. The Workload Manager uses Google Cloud managed service accounts to control access and communication between resources and the associated project. Now, every Workload Manager API method requires the necessary IAM permissions, right? And the permissions are assigned by granting roles to a user, to a group, or a service account. Now you have a couple of workload manager IAM roles, like workload manager admin, which gives you full access to all the workload manager resources. The next one is your workload manager viewer, which gives you read-only access to workload manager resources. And then you have the workload manager worker. So this role used by workload manager application runners to read and update workload. Now, as you see, it allows you to define the fine-grained permission for users and groups so that only authorized users can access sensitive data or resources. So this is how it works.
Once we have validated, okay, these are the changes that needs to be done. So, do we have the feature to in the Google Workload Manager to do the changes as well, or it's still in process?
Let me take a step back and first give you some background on how it works actually. So workload manager is a rule-based validation service for evaluating your workload. Now it scans your application workload to detect deviation from standard rules and best practices. So you can use workload manager to perform a one-time or an ongoing validation. For example, example, as a database admin, you might want to use Workload Manager to ensure all the deployed databases you manage across different projects follow a set of recommended guidelines, right? Or let's say you are a system architect and you want to receive notification of changes in best practices to ensure reliable and performant configurations across the system in your organization. So if issues are identified, Workload Manager provides detailed guidance to improve reliability, performance, and overall system quality. So what do you see whenever you execute an evaluation? Once the execution finishes, you get a report. In that, you see different details. One being what all checks you executed, how many of them have passed, what is the error, and basically everything with details. So as you click on that drop down for each rule that you executed, it gives you a recommendation along with the documentation as in how to fix it. But it will not go and automatically fix it, right? That is
Okay.
something you have to
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
plan it and then you can do it. Yeah.
Got it. So can I run this evaluation on multiple system at one go, or do we have any restrictions in that?
No, you can run it on multiple systems and multiple projects at once, right? So on the evaluation scope page during creation of a new evaluation, you select multiple projects. So in that field where you have to enter the project, you can give all the projects that you want to give. And then to refine which resource or system you wish to evaluate, you have filters where you can choose a workload by label, by service account, or just by entering the VM name. So along with that, you also get another field where you have to enter. Like you get three filters basically. You can select all the workloads based on the label. Let's say all your production machine have a label named prod. So you can just give prod and it will pick all those machines which has this label. Similarly, you can give a service account and that service account, if it tied with like let's say 10 VMs, it will pick all those 10. And if you just want to give like one or two or five VM names specifically, you can just enter those names. So you have multiple options to select the workload. Yeah.
Got it. So we can have different set of rules for production and dev and test, right? We can have,
Yes, so you
yeah,
can create multiple evaluation. You can, for example, for your production workload, you create one evaluation. You select the checks for those workloads, and then you execute it, schedule it however you want as per your requirement. Similarly, you might want to follow a different level of checks. Your development might not have the high availability, right? So you don't want to execute those checks for your development. In that case, you can create a new evaluation and then set the frequency accordingly. Yeah.
got it. So do we also have the option to add custom checks in it?
As of today, no, but you will see that
Yeah.
feature in later next this year. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that will be great. Like overall, this tool is something that we all can have in our landscape and not worry about, okay, this system might have missed. If we are just adding all those system in one particular label, we can check at one go that what are the issues that we need to be fixed, and we can just work on that. So that evaluation
That's right.
part is really great. Yeah. So, okay, we are working on the SAP solution. What about the other third-party solutions that we are having on our Google Cloud? So that can also be evaluated on this.
So you can use Workload Manager console, or you can create and run evaluation via the API. So we have an API called workloadmanager.googleapis.com. You can
Mhm.
use the Google provided client libraries, or you can use your own libraries to call this service, right? So this will help you run it, and you can do things as recommended by SAP plus Google Cloud. You can use the self-managed detection and validation against misconfiguration, and it also integrates across the GCP ecosystem, like GCP support, your backup with Actifio, etc. Right?
And like as of today, can partners and MSPs start using Google Workload Manager, or do we have any restrictions?
Y- Yes, they can use it as we are using, right? So you can use Workload Manager in the console. You just go there, start creating evaluation, and run it against the
Mhm.
workload. That's it. Yeah.
So what are your insights that you can provide, and what are the roadmap that you suggest for this Google Workload Manager?
So we will be releasing some exciting new features for SAP monitoring and automated deployment later this year. Now, I would request you to register for Google Cloud Next event, which will be held on August 29 to 31st, 2023, to learn more about the roadmap. Yep.
Okay, so I'll be participating in that August event, and I'll just put on the link in the description chat so that people can also register to that event. But let's talk about monitoring and reporting functionalities that Google Workload Manager has. So if you can help us understand more on that perspective as well.
So, Workload Manager provides a variety of tools to help you understand and optimize your workload. This tool includes the health check, the performance metrics log, and reports. So, health checks can be used to identify potential issues with your workload, such as memory leak or performance bottleneck. Performance metrics can be used to track the performance of your workload over time. Now, logs can be used to troubleshoot those issues and understand the behavior of your workload. And at the end, you can use the reporting to summarize the health performance and logs of your workload. Now, as I mentioned, the Workload Manager also integrates with other Google Cloud services such as cloud monitoring, cloud logging to provide you with a comprehensive view of your workload, right? So you can use the monitoring, the logging to identify the performance issue, to identify a memory leak in your workload, to troubleshoot, to perform the RCA, and you could generate a report that summarizes the overall health. So this is what
And
you can achieve. Yeah.
that's great. So, uh, sorry to be greedy here, but the question would be, do we have the option to make these reports on periodic basis? For example, during the month end or the quarter end or the year end, for example, we have more load. So, can we have a particular graph or visualization that we can get from these reports that, okay, at this point of time, these systems are highly used by you? Does that work that way?
So as of now, I don't think so. We have that feature, but you will see something similar in future, definitely. Yep.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay, that will be all from my end. Thanks for joining, and I'll be uh, thrilled to join the event in the month of August and let you know how it goes. For
Thank you, Ashish. Yeah.
for people who have more questions, they can probably ping Ghanshyam and give him some trouble and get the answers to your questions. Thanks a
Yes,
lot for
definitely. I'll be happy to answer all those questions. And thanks once again, Ashish, for having me here. It was great speaking to you. Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.